Okay, we're just on our way home from the Heysen. We're in Tanunda at the moment on the drive home. We just got the packs. We've got an hour to spare, so I just sort of do a quick pack shakedown. This is my pack, and that's Simone's over there. We'll go through my gear mostly, but I might touch on a few of Simone's kind of big ticket items. If you've seen my gear videos or my gear shakedowns before, there's not a lot of difference. There's a few just little tweaks. The Z-mat I start with, I use that all the time, I sit on it during the day, goes under my mat at night. If I want to snooze during the day, I can snooze on this rather than get my thermarest out. Pack is a HMG wind rider. It's got the mesh. The mesh is handy for storing drink bottles and wet gear. I keep my maps in there, keep my thongs in there mostly. It makes it fairly flexible. 70 litres, allegedly the wind rider. Not too sure about that, but it's pretty big and it carries weight really well for a lightweight pack. It has got an aluminium stage in the back, so yeah, it's not just a sack sitting on your back. Normally I put an in-reach up here, but I've got the in-reach stashed for the bus trip. I have an in-reach that I attach up there though. One pocket has my glasses in, the other pocket has my phone in. The gut pocket, one of them has some Bluetooth headphones and my Petzl headlamp. The other one has toothpaste, toothbrush, a few painkillers, vitamin pills, stuff like that. So that's all good with the outside of my pack. Now I have had this unpacked and had to shove stuff back in, so it's not normally how I pack it, but we'll get a bit of an idea what's in there. So this is my stuff sack with, let's pick this up. This has got my quilt in it. So I use a Tier Gear quilt. The quilt I used on the Heysen is good down to a -2. Tier Gear was a Tasmanian company. However, they've sold the business to, I believe, to someone in New South Wales. I haven't seen them restart the business. I'm a big fan of the quilts, and Tier Gear is a good one. Very light and very warm. The other thing in my little stuff sack is a pillow and a pillowcase that I chuck everything in. Normally my stuff sack will have a puffy, but my puffy's in the car at the moment. I used it yesterday on the bus on the way up to Goin to pick up the car. That's just a spare dry bag my last food drop was in. Well, that's nothing important. This dry bag has got my food, or leftover food in that I didn't use, because we did a food drop at my ponga, and most of the food from that drop we didn't actually eat because we were moving so quick, but I had to carry it because I wasn't going back. This one here, this dry bag is a heavy duty one. Believe it or not, I carry an iPad on these bougie walks where I'm staying in town, and I stoke my iPad in this extra strong dry bag just to make sure it stays dry. This is a little Hyperlight organising bag made of Goin. In this one I keep, what do we got here? I got some batteries, snake bandage, there's my in-reach, some like heavy duty medicine like prescription painkillers and things like that if I need them. I didn't use any on this trip. I've got a compass in here that has done thousands and thousands of kilometres and hasn't been used lately for a long time. Just like any kind of odds and ends. Got some lens cleaners, just that kind of gear in here. And it's handy because the HMG packs, because they're basically one big sack, you do need to organise them a bit, I find. Alright, I've got my Z-Packs Vertex Gore-Tex jacket, and I've also got, if I can find it in there, I took my heavy duty Mountain Design, hang on, let's see what brand it is, I haven't used it for. Mountain Design Gore-Tex. I took them both, so I wore this during the day if it wasn't really raining. If it was really cold and wet, I'd use this. And I also could use this as like a mid layer. So I'm actually thinking when I go to Tassie soon, I'm going to carry this as like almost like a mid layer, because what I also do with this is I can zip it up at night and put it over the footbox of my quilt, so the quilt doesn't touch the inside of my single skin tent. And this is just a heavy thing I've had for 15 years. Did the job on the Heysen, but I won't be taking it to Tassie in the winter. I wore shorts obviously during the rain. They need a wash. This little dry bag is where I normally keep these pants that I sleep in, and a thermal an icebreaker thermal hoodie that I sleep in. I've also got an icebreaker hoodie that's almost like a sun hoodie. It's that I walk in during the day. That's in there at the moment. That's another Cedar Summit compression bag. Got my Z-Packs duplex ground sheet. It's still ringing wet. A lot of this stuff's still ringing wet. That I use at the front of my tent. It's a kneel on to get in and out of the tent. Got my tote cooker, 900 mil. It's got a gas bottle in it. It's got a knife. It's got a cigarette lighter and a little kind of ShamWow kind of water thing to soak up some water. Got the Nalgene, Mountain Design version. Obviously the ultralight guys will have a fit with the Nalgene. I just like the wide mouth. Generally my Nalgene I only put water in, don't put any kind of other sweet things in it, just to stop the bacteria. I do mix protein drinks and electrolytes, but I normally put them in a Gatorade bottle that I change out at every food drop. This is toiletries, so toilet paper, some wet wipes, a trowel, cigarette lighter, hand sanitizer. I keep them in the poo-coloured dry bag. And what else we got there? I'll get to the bottom of it now, that's good. My Thermarest Neo Air, I don't know the model. It's not the real light one, it's not X-Therm, but it's got an RV of about 3.9. Combined with the Z-Mat, it gives me easily 4.5 R value, which is plenty for the Heysen, and will get me through Tassie as well in the future. I'm using last time I did the Heysen, I did it with the Z-Packs Duplex. This time I've used the Hyperlight Unbound 2. This one's definitely better in the rain and the storms. Condensation, I thought this would be worse, but there's not much difference. And it's a little bit, contrary to what the specs say, it's a little bit bigger than Z-Packs Duplex. So it's a little bit more expensive too though, and a fraction heavier. It comes in at around 650 grams, maybe a touch more with steaks. Whereas I think the Duplex is about 550 with steaks. So fraction heavy, but I think it's a lot more storm worthy. Nowhere near as drafty. But it is single skin. It's wet now, and I've somehow got to get this dry. They are harder to dry than what we'll talk about Simone's gear in a minute. These single skin ones take a lot more work to keep them dry, and when you're in them, obviously you've got to be careful you're not touching too much of the inside, because you'll get wet, or your quilt will get wet. That's pretty much it. I've got a Garbo bag at the bottom here. If it's going to rain a lot, I kind of line the pack with the Garbo bag. And I also, there's another spare dry bag that I picked up along the way somewhere. I've got a pair of overpants. I didn't actually use them. It's touch and go with your net overpants on the ice, and some of those ridge walks, that day we walked into Smith's Hill, and then the next day we walked into Marshall's Hut, were very, very cold and very wet. It was marginal in shorts without overpants. We got away with it, but if you were a slower walker, or maybe you had to stop because you needed a rest, you could have got into trouble there. So overpants, if you just buy this is just a cheaper Rainbird or something like that in New Zealand, they're just, possibly worth it, but it's your own decision you can make there. And a pair of gloves that I didn't use either. So these are the only things I didn't use. And that's about it for my gear. All right, well, we'll go to Simone's gear now. Okay, we've got some of Simone's gear spread out here. So Simone and I are similar walkers in a lot of respects in that we go pretty hard, but we have slightly different philosophies. Simone mostly tries to support Australian companies, so she's got more Australian gear than me, although I've got a bit. The other thing is Simone hasn't gone as lightweight as me with her gear, and there's a couple of reasons for that. One of them is she's actually training for something bigger and better than what we've just done, so she's trying to increase the strength, and it obviously worked. Anyway, so we'll get on to her kind of big ticket items here. We're not going through a whole pack. So Simone there's an Australian company called One Planet. Simone used a pack, it's an 85 litre pack of theirs. I think it was pretty comfortable, Simone.
Yep.
And yeah, no real complaints with that. It was massive. She didn't have to worry about fitting everything in like I had to worry about mine. Everything slotted in quite easily. She also used a One Planet Goin 2 tent, and they're a double skin tent. So and a freestanding tent. So not a trekking pole tent. They're obviously a bit heavier. I'm guessing it weighs about 2 and a bit kilos. But they're a lot more forgiving in wind and cold weather and also condensation. And yeah, they're an Australian company. So if you want to look One Planet up, I know they've got a factory in Melbourne and they've got an outlet at Little Burke Street in Melbourne. But I'm sure you can pick them up online. As far as wet weather gear goes, so Simone used what a lot of the US hikers is a company called Frog Togs. You're probably going to pick these up on Amazon, I'm thinking. So they're not breathable, they're not Gore-Tex, but they are cheap. And to be honest with you, Gore-Tex wets out anyway. So a lot of people use these Frog Togs in America on the through hikes. And Simone uses them over here. So she's got a jacket that she wore. And then she's got this thing, which is a quilt made in Australia.
Kilt.
A kilt. Well, she's got a quilt too, but she's got a kilt made in Australia by, I think it's Chris Sewell made this one.
Correct.
He's a bloke in Melbourne. I think he makes a bit of his homemade gear. This is Sil nylon. I know you can get Dyneema ones from America. I think Z-Packs do them. I've been looking at maybe a Dyneema one in the future. Obviously, Simone's using these. She didn't have overpants, so it was pretty marginal on the really windy, cold days, but it worked. But you want to be careful. The more minimal you go with this rain gear, if you can get yourself in trouble if it gets really cold and you're maybe not a fast walker. We kind of relied on moving quick and getting to shelter and not having to stop. So it's a personal decision you need to think about. Okay, Simone also used a company called Goin. They're a West Australian company, and they make trail runners. So they look like licorice all sorts, but Simone likes them. They work for her, and they've got the bit of. She's put the Velcro on the back where she puts the Dirty Girls on, Dirty Girl Gators. Yeah, you'd recommend Goins?
Yeah, these ones are Devils, and they've brought out another one with Vibram soles. Nice wide toe box.
Yeah.
And a Perth company, and they give back to the Bob Brown Foundation, so
yeah,
they're quite environmental.
It's definitely worth considering Goins. They're reasonably. We don't know much about them on the east coast, I don't think, but I'm thinking they're going to get more and more popular.
Yeah, they're geared towards trail runners, but I'm trying to teach them that they are also good for through hikers.
Okay, so Simone uses the US staple, the Darn Tough socks. I can't believe it, I'm touching her old socks here.
They smell.
Oh, they smell. And that's her Dirty Girl Gators. That's another pair of... that's the footy socks.
Yeah.
So you saw Simone in the... like the Pippi Longstocking kind of gear, or the K-pop gear. It's actually a pair of footy socks she wears in her legs that she's cut the actual sock bit off.
I don't like gaiters, and these are kind of warm and protect me from scratching at the same time, and it's what's worked for quite a few years, so I go with that.
As far as like clothing layers, Simone uses an Australian merino company called Otti,
Yeah.
which I'm actually going to look at because I'm not a big fan of.
Owned and made in Australia, and the quality of them is really good over Icebreaker.
Yeah, I think
so-
Icebreaker quality's dropped off and the prices have gone sky high. So I
Yeah.
might have a look at this Otti too. The only thing about them is from what I can gather, their range is quite limited. But if you're not too worried about fashion, definitely worth a look.
They do
I
a
reckon.
longer t-shirt, and it's like slightly longer so that when you put your pack around your waist, it doesn't like creep up and stuff
Yeah,
like that. So
yeah.
they're quite good.
Now the other thing about Simone, she's got a couple of MacPack hiking dresses that she wears. I've actually never really come across hiking dresses on the trail. It works really well for Simone. Definitely worth considering if you like wearing dresses. I can see a lot of practicalities with them, particularly if the weather's warm. I'm not 100% convinced in blizzards and cold weather, but I'm sure Simone will work it out. What do we got? The Gossamer Gear poles. Do you know the name of them?
3-part trekking poles.
Yeah.
They used to be
Hang on,
2-part.
I know them. Gossamer Gear, take less, do more. Yeah. So these are obviously mail order from America. I don't know, you can buy them in Australia
You
off
can't.
the shelf.
I bought the 2-part ones years and years ago, and I did about 20,000 kilometres with them, and I love them. And then they brought out the 3-part ones, which crushed down to be smaller for when you go on the aeroplanes and stuff like that. Love them. Love the cork handles mostly. Super lightweight.
And they're carbon fibre, so they're light.
Fibre, super lightweight.
And if you're worried about the pink tape, Simone puts pink tape on, which is a brilliant idea.
I put it on
not
everything.
to lose anything. I even tried. I've got a spoon now with pink tape on, but I try and buy my gear in bright colours now. Some of the more fiddly stuff, so I don't lose it. All right, this is the last thing we'll go through of Simone's. This is is it Western Mountaineer?
Enlightened equipment. Custom made Enlightened equipment.
It's a little black quilt. I'm really going well there. And this Simone is a hot sleeper. Obviously, with the cancer treatment, there's a few side effects where she's getting hot flushes and things like that. So she doesn't feel the cold as much as some people. But I think this is pretty good, down to -2, -3.
Oh, and more, yeah.
And more.
Yeah.
What else we got there?
The Van Gogh.
Oh, the Van
because I
Gogh
sleep
bag.
hot, I've had thermarests over the years, but I have just started going it's like $80, a Van Gogh from Wild Earth.
Yeah.
It's a 3/4 one because I use my pack as my foot sleeping part, but Kevin sort of balks that there's probably 0 R value in it, but for me it works because I run so hot.
Yeah, and I walk at it because it would only just cover my torso and my whole bottom half.
So it weighs like 250 grams. It's $80 or $90. I use them for a couple of years and then they bust out.
But just
But be mindful.
Be
yeah.
mindful that they're not that warm, and if you're a cold sleeper, you probably need something with a better RV, or
Yeah.
or if you're going.
If I was going to Alpine or Tassie, I take a different one. But this, for the Heysen and the Bibbleman track, it does the job for me, particularly with the sleeping bag.
Okay, so that's look, a rough. I know this has been a very rough video, but we didn't want to. It's pretty boring to going through gear. If there is any questions for me or Simone, leave them in the comments, and I'll try and get back to you. So don't often go through other people's gear. But keep in mind that Simone is a very experienced walker, and I've got a bit of experience too, so we can sometimes cut a few corners that maybe it wouldn't be wise for everyone to take, which is explain some of our gear choices. All right, I will pack everything away, and we got to get back to Melbourne tomorrow for the next adventure. All right, there will be another video coming up. I'll probably do one on logistics on the Heysen, like shuttles and town, like where you can buy food and things like that. So that'll probably be the next video I think coming up. All right, thanks for that. Catch you next time.